I'm Emily and I live in Doncaster. It's always kind of concerned me about how species are becoming endangered because of human activity. Last year in geography we did like a module on climate change, and it really made you stop and think about how imminent it is and how much damage it could cause.
My name is Guillaume and I live in Chiswick. After seeing David Attenborough and Greta Thunberg speak, I've seen how much we need to change. I've started to really try to make a difference.
My name is Katia, I'm 13 and I live in Hendon. I first learned about climate change and the environment mostly through school and through my parents. My grandpa was working quite hard on some ideas to do with global warming. He began talking to me a bit and I got quite interested in it, and so I decided that I was going to try and do my bit.
My name is Zara and I live in Birmingham. I got interested in climate change and the environment by seeing all the commercials on TV and all the ads. When I saw this competition, I didn't actually want to win. I just wanted somebody to see and hear my ideas. I hope that my speech can make a difference in the world.
I would say just try and learn as much as you can. Try and do, because people don't realise, but little things that they do, like using reusable shopping bags or walking somewhere. It's those little things that can really make a difference if enough people do it.
On summer days, everybody likes to sit next to the Thames River, but they always leave their cups behind. Me and my mum always pick them up. If you simply just recycle, we need to change now before it gets too late.
Now I'm beginning to think more deeply about kind of solutions and things like that.
I feel that it's quite important that we educate ourselves, because a lot of these things that could happen will happen in our lifetimes.
I don't eat red meat and I try and limit the amount of kind of dairy product, and we're quite aware of kind of where our food comes from and trying to buy more locally. I've invested my money in an eco bank, so they're investing in sustainable companies. Even if you only make small changes, they will count towards something bigger. I'd really encourage young people and students to get involved in any climate-related activities that they can.
It's really important that politicians listen to our opinion. We need to look after this planet because we've only got one.
I think the politicians should be listening to more ideas and being more open to trying ideas. It's not very fair that they make their own choices that don't affect them now, but they do affect us and they hand that to us.
I think it's really important that politicians do listen to young people. When you think about it, we're the future, and at the end of the day, it's going to be us that are around later on.
I may only be 9, but I know that we don't have enough time. Stop warming up the earth, we need more rain. Together we can stop climate change.
Climate change is our fault. We have caused this mess, and now it's up to us to rectify it. If we fail, our entire planet will suffer as a result of our activity.
It's an honour to be speaking to you all today. I believe that young people like me should have a greater influence on the issue of climate change. So I'm delighted to be speaking today about my ideas surrounding the topic and the action that I think we should take.
Living in London and travelling to different countries, I've seen how vast, diverse and fragile our planet is. My hope is that our leaders will take action on climate change, and that my ideas will help them and everyone in the UK reach our target of cutting emissions by 78% by 2035.
Did you know that NASA have said that the ice caps are melting at an alarming rate of 9% per decade? If this carries on, the Arctic could be free of ice by 2040. The time to act is now. If I was in charge, I would remind people that the future is up to us.
Picture this. People are being forced to move away from their homes. There are more frequent natural disasters, and there's more plastic in the ocean than fish. Welcome to the year 2050. We will be forced to sit back, knowing that we could have done something more, knowing we could have saved the planet, but we underestimated the damage that would be caused. Climate change is happening, and it will continue to happen unless something drastic is done. That is up to you.
The 20 warmest years on record have been in the past 22 years. This is a disaster for life on our planet. The world is calling for help, and we must answer quickly, before it's too late. We should inspire young people, encourage them, and make sure they understand that if everyone makes small changes, they could add up to something far greater.
Sea levels have risen around 20 centimetres in the last century, and ice is melting earlier in the spring. Over 1/5 of the population have already seen warming surpass 1.5 degrees Celsius in at least one season. Even with a 1.5 degree warmer world, around 14% of the population will be exposed to severe heat waves at least once every 5 years. If we allow the planet to warm by 2 degrees, the devastating heat waves and wildfires could become an annual event.
I live on the River Thames, near our wetland centre. So much wildlife, right here in London. Magic! Let's save our wetlands. 90% have been lost. They are faster at locking up carbon than planting trees. I would like our leaders to support us to save 100,000 hectares of healthy wetlands across the country.
F. Fossil fuels. It is time to change people from using fossil fuel to renewable energy. The cost of renewable energy has lowered in the last 10 years, so changing to this will save money and help save the planet.
More renewable energy sources could be established, such as wind, solar and wave power. In the future, rainwater could be channeled with wastewater from houses into an underground water wheel, producing hydroelectric power to be used in streetlights or pelican crossings. This way, wastewater could be utilised in a way that benefits communities.
Peatlands store twice as much carbon as all the world's forests combined. Don't take 3 years to stop peat being taken from them. Let's give everyone a year.
Unity. We need to encourage working together, make a brighter future for ourselves hand in hand. It's really important to talk more about this crisis to the people. I believe we should begin by having a regular global planting day where communities come together and dedicate themselves to planting more trees. Plant more, cut less, every tree counts.
I think that we should develop an eco-lifestyle app. This app would keep track of when and how you travel, what kind of foods you buy, whether your energy is renewable, and how often you buy from fast fashion brands. One website states that the average American throws away approximately 37 kilos of clothing yearly, and it takes 200 years for polyester fibre to decompose in landfill. There could be several levels on this app, and on reaching a certain level, you could qualify for a reduction in income tax for that year. As you reach higher levels, the reduction would get higher.
T for transport. Exercise your body, not your vehicle. Boost people to walk or use bikes by making an app that tracks miles or steps and converts them into points and then to prizes. We live in a world full of smartphones and apps, so surely this would be easy. People can build up points towards everyday things to give them an incentive. It would definitely make my walk to school worthwhile.
Let's make every other building a green building. 14% of our emissions come from UK homes. Support our families to make their houses greener, and ask developers to build more energy-efficient homes. Let's also have one wall of their houses or blocks green.
People could be asked to grow their own foods and buy locally or ethically sourced produce to reduce the transportation of goods. Those who grow their own foods could be provided with a form of reward, such as vouchers for gardening equipment or other activities.
Save our bees and bring back nature to our cities. Don't move out, move in and bring your green with you. Cool our cities with nature.
Large companies could be encouraged to switch to electric vehicles and invest in sustainable packaging. Supermarkets could enact zero waste policies, sending wasted products to be either recycled or turned into power sources such as biomass.
Usage. Lower your energy usage. We should introduce a regular 1-hour shutdown that people can schedule with the energy supply that works for them to make some savings.
I also think that introducing or strengthening existing carbon taxes for large companies that emit huge amounts of greenhouse gases through their production and supply chains would be beneficial. 71% of global emissions come from only 100 companies. This tax would mean that for every ton of carbon and methane emitted by a company, there would be a high charge.
Ask our supermarkets to become super at no plastic creation. They create half of the plastic waste in UK households. Stop choking the planet, our waterways, oceans and wildlife. I walk along the Thames every day. One day I hope the plastic bottles and wrappers won't follow me, only the swans will.
R. Recycle and upcycle. Stop wasting. Reuse, reduce and renovate. Introduce rewards for recycling more. This will encourage people to think before throwing things away.
The money accumulated from carbon taxation could be used to build solar panels and wind turbines all over the world. Solar panels could be built on top of large buildings, train stations, and anywhere that receives enough sunlight.
E. Extra vegetables.
Cut back on meat and dairy. Give people vouchers to encourage them to buy more vegetables. Turn some farms into space for more trees, windmills and solar panels. Eating more veg is the least that we can do.
We have the power to save what is left of our home. All species on Earth depend on us to change our ways. Action must be taken, and it must be taken now.
If we don't act fast, the ice caps will melt and the animal will become extinct. Only ice will be at an ice rink.
Things can change. If we act with urgency, with passion and with dedication, we can lessen the impact of climate change.
We have less than 2 decades to solve climate change and help the planet. It is important to work around the people's and planet's needs to have a better future for all.
We can't make excuses any longer. This is the reality of our future if nothing is done. Do you want to be responsible for this? To be labelled as humanity's last hope, or the generation who could have done more, but they didn't?
You've shown that you can work together. And science and technology exist to answer this climate crisis. This is the work of your generation. Thank you. I ask you for my generation. Apply it. We must act now together.
Our future is in your hands.
Don't throw it away.